In this video, we're going to be learning how to model low poly headphones in Blender. This is a fun beginner project, and it's a great way to practice curves and symmetry and clean shapes. Very, very exciting. So if you want to follow along, all you have to do is click on the link in the description and get the starter project, which includes some textures and fun stuff that we're going to be using later. All right. So we're going to start with this. Let's get rid of this cube. Actually, I'll hit X and delete. And we're going to start not with a cube, but with, if I hit Shift A, with a cylinder. Okay, we're going to start with a cylinder, and we're going to start by kind of making the band for the headphones. So I have this cylinder made, and I'm going to make the vertices maybe a little bit less, maybe like 24, sure. And here under this kind of like menu that pops up, sometimes it's just a little thing like this. If you pop it up, this is kind of the initial properties of whatever you make. And sometimes it's a good idea to go in and just adjust this. You can adjust some of this later, but the vertices, radius, and depth, you can't really later. But yeah, let's make the depth less. Like let's make it like 0.3. Yeah, something like that. And rotation on X, or on Y, let's make this 90. So yeah, there we go. We have this kind of sitting there like that. Okay, great. I'm going to take this and we're going to get in here and we're going to do some crazy stuff. I'm going to hit 3 on the keyboard and select these two faces. And I'll hit X and just delete the faces. So now we have this ring here. I'll also, let's look at this on maybe the Y axis. Sure, so we're looking at this sideways. I'll also go to this mode right here, X-ray, and select kind of the lower third of this and hit X, delete faces. So now we have this really interesting kind of shape, this little arc shape. And this is what we're going to use to make the kind of band for our headphones here. So that looks pretty good overall. Let's make this a little bit wider. So let's say, let's hit tab to make sure we're in edit mode in faces and hit A and then SX, make that a little bit wider like this. Okay, good. And now let's hit 2 on the keyboard and grab both of these bottom parts. And we're going to scale these down, but I want this to kind of taper down. And so if I were to grab this and hit S and then X, I can scale them down like this, but it's not quite what I want. What I really would like is for this to be really tapered down more gently. And so instead of doing that, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to go over here to this little button. And you can also hit O on the keyboard, and this is the proportional editing. And now when I hit S, I get this big circle, and look what happens. If I scale those down, it kind of scales everything down, and it kind of is a lot more smooth, all right? So I'm gonna S and then X, and bring those down like this. I can roll up and down on my scroll wheel to select more or less, and I think I'll just make this be the whole thing. So look at that. Oh, that looks great. This is great. This really just about looks like we know what we're doing. Okay, so we have this. This is great. Let's make this a little bit thicker. We can do this a couple ways, but I think what I'll do is just hit Tab, A, and then I'm going to hit Alt, E. That's going to bring up our extrude menu, and I'm going to select extrude faces along normals like this. I'm going to push this out like this to make it a little bit thicker. Good. Yes, like that. All right, cool. So now those, we have kind of a little band for this. This is great. Okay, let's take these parts here, and I'll hit 3 on the keyboard and grab these faces. I'll make sure to turn off my proportional editing because that can get me in trouble later. And let's just inset each of those. I'll hit Alt, or no, I'll hit I and then I again. That'll let us inset each of those and then extrude. Okay. I actually want to extrude them along normals. So Alt-E, extrude faces along normals like this, and bring those down. So that'll be kind of the metal part that attaches to the headphones. And I think that'll do it for our band. I think that's going to work pretty well. Let's go into edit mode, hit A, G, Z to bring this up, because that's going to be up a little bit more. Great. Let's actually make the cans for the headphones here. I think that's what you call them. Shift A. And let's make another cylinder. This time we're going to rotate this sideways. So let's rotate this on X 90 degrees. Let's make the depth a little more like, I don't know, 1. Sure, something like that. We're going to edit this a lot, so that sounds good. Vertices 24, that sounds good too. Let's maybe make the radius a little smaller. We can also just scale this later, but that's fine. It doesn't matter either way. Let's make this kind of make sense. Let's go look at this on the y-axis and just kind of bring that down until it's believable for headphones. Yeah, somewhere in there. Cool. All right. Take this width, take this depth down to 0.5. Sure. All right. Now we're going to make one side of these things. So I'll hit tab and let's adjust this. I'm going to grab this side and just move it over GY like that. And maybe we'll bevel this, Control B. There we go. And then this side, let's Control B as well. And then here, let's maybe inset it and then extrude it and then bevel it, Control B like that. See what we're doing? It's a headphone thing. Pretty easy to get that going. I'm gonna right click and say Shade Auto Smooth. There we go. Same thing here, right click, Shade Auto Smooth. Yeah, that's gonna work pretty well. And then depending on how much detail you want here, you might add another little kind of piece here to connect to this. We could probably even add it on here. So let's do that. Let's again Alt E for extrude along normals like that. Sure. And then actually I don't know if we want to do it that way. Let's do it this way. Shift A, mesh, cube, tab for edit, S for scale, G, Y, bring this over. Let's scale this down and just make a little, I don't know, like a little block thing here. GY. And that's going to be the thing that actually connects this. Let's scale this on X, make it a little bigger. And then maybe I'll do something like hit 2 and grab this edge and Control B to bevel this down like that. There we go. Okay. Now let's grab this and this. I'm holding Shift and selecting both of those. And let's look at this over the X-axis, and I'll just G for grab this. There we go. And I'll just kind of put that in like that. Oh, that works pretty dang well. Look at that. That works pretty well. I like it. Okay. So now that we have this side of the headphones made, let's mirror this to the other side. So I'll grab this, and let's actually Control J, join those together. And we want to mirror this to the other side. So I'm going to go to our modifiers here and go to Add Modifier, search Mirror. And by default, it's probably not going to do what I want it to do because it just doesn't know magically exactly how I want this to be mirrored. What we want to do is mirror this across or on the y-axis. So we're going to say y-axis like this. But we also don't want it to mirror on itself. We want it to mirror across this axis. And so we can give it a mirror object. So I can grab this little eyedropper here and click our headphones. And look at that. Oh, baby. That's what we want. That's really cool. Ooh, I forgot to kind of do the inside of this. So let's do that. It sort of looks like earmuffs right now. I'll hit tab 3, grab this, and let's inset it, and then extrude it in, scale it down. Sure, let's call that good. So those are our headphones, and it's going to happen on both sides because this is live mirroring to the other side. All right. So we can leave it like that, or we can apply that mirror. Either way, it's not really going to matter for exactly what we're doing here, but let's call that good. There we go. There's our headphones. Let's make these a fun color, shall we? I'm going to go to UV editing. UV editing is a way to adjust how a 3D object uses a texture. So what we're going to do is apply a texture to this. We're going to go to our material, and we already have a material in here called main material. Click on that. And if you apply it to either of these, they're going to kind of turn rainbowy, which is kind of fun, but not exactly what we want. The reason it's rainbowy is if I hit tab and hit A, I can kind of zoom out here and I can see where each of these faces is using on this texture. So that's not quite what I want. So what I want to do actually is I'm just going to select everything here, and then hit Tab to go into edit mode, A to select all of the faces. And remember, it's not going to select this because it's already being live mirrored. And then let's just view this on the x-axis so we can view this perfectly from the front. And then I'll go up to UV, project from view. And see how this is kind of taking a picture of this? Well, what we can do is we can scale this way, way down, and we can put this just on one part of this color, and it's going to colorize that all the same. Isn't that cool? Oh, I love this part. This is my favorite. Okay, so we want to add a little bit of fanciness here. Now that this is all mostly kind of black, let's hit Tab, and I'm just going to grab these faces here. I'll just hit Alt and grab this ring like that. And let's grab this, bring this up to a little bit brighter. Good. We can also do this on the other side, which I kind of forgot we weren't mirroring this. Oh, well. Alt, Shift, there we go. And now let's bring those both up. This is kind of a jank way to do it, but that's all right. This will work. All right, cool. There we go. And you can add any other kind of variation that you want here. And so for instance, I could select this face right here and hit Control plus on the keyboard on my numpad like that. And then I could adjust this, hit G, and kind of make it a little bit brighter. And now we have a little bit of variation there. Oh, that looks cool. That looks really cool. I love that. All right, let's make the inside of this a little bit darker. I'll select this, G, and just bring that down really dark. Cool. Yes, that looks so great. The last thing I'm going to do is go here to this roughness and make this a little bit more rough. Let's do like 0.8. We want these to be pretty darn rough. All right, cool. There's our headphones. Let's render this. I'm going to go back to my layout and make sure that we have our textures on right here. Now I'm going to go up to our render stuff, and what I want to do is turn on this render stuff right here in my outliner. But I can't without going up to this funnel, going down and hitting the computer monitor there. And now I can hit this computer monitor, and look at that. Now we have our little studio all set up. I'll click on this camera, and there we have our headphones. Ooh, that's looking cool. I think I want these to actually be floating. So let's grab these actually. And I think maybe I'll hit Control A and just apply visual geometry to mesh. That's going to apply my mirror modifier. And I'll shift select both of these, Control J to join them. So now this is all just one object. And let's rotate this. Let's rotate it on X and rotate it on Y. There we go. Yeah, something like that. And we'll just kind of have these be floating. That's cool. Yeah. Something like that. Rotate it on Z a little bit. Yeah. There we go. Now we have these floating headphones. So much fun. Let's see what that looks like. G, Shift Z maybe. Bring this up a little bit, scale it down. Good. Let's see what this looks like in a render. Render image. Oh, baby, that looks so good. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, if you want to learn more about rendering and about modeling and all of the stuff when it comes to just kind of the basics of Blender, you got to check out Blender 101. That is my basics course on modeling in Blender. And yeah, we go deep into all of this stuff, and it's a really good time. All right. So if you're thirsty for more, that's a great way to get more. I hope that you have fun making this 3D stuff. I'll see you later.